Hello YouTube, welcome to my shop. Tonight's going to start the first video of me building a 2x72 belt grinder. I picked up the plans for it quite a while ago from the guy that runs this channel here. Check him out. He does a really good video. He's the one that came up with the original design. I'm not deviating from it a lot. It's winter time and I got a fly. I think I warmed up the shop enough to woke the flies up. Anyway, I'm not deviating it from it very much, but I am going to be doing a few things to clean up a few parts and more like a machined piece. So let's see how I go with this. So the first part I'm going to do, I'm going to be cutting out all of the individual pieces. I'm just going through the directions step by step and finding out what sizes are needed for each piece and cutting them out to length on the bandsaw. It'll be most of the first night to get all of these, measured and cut and put into place. And that video is rather boring, so it'll be down here and fast forward so you can kind of see what was going on. After that, I'll be taking some of the pieces will have contours to them and holes and some threaded pieces and some machined slots. So there'll be some video for that. Alright, for step 5, this is for parts of the hinge, which is the main locking section and then the smaller hinge portions. I've got everything pre-cut here and I started bluing. I'm going to go ahead and finish bluing these up and then we'll move over to the surface plate and do all the layout. Alright, so that should cover that there. For doing this layout portion, we're going to want to bring this to 1 1/4, which will bring us this height here. So we're at 1, a little over now, 1.1, 1.2, 50. Really quick sanity check. Yep, 1 1/4. Now we can take these parts and just scribe them. Rocked a little bit. Not that this is a super critical one, but might as well practice being critical. Alright, so the next, it's supposed to be 3/4, but first I want to just double check here that these are actually 1.5 inches. Which, yeah, with scale and everything, they're probably what is that, about 15th over. So instead of going exactly 750, I want to go to 757. So we'll come down. So right there would be 750, 55, 56, 57. Hopefully you can see it's a pretty good cross in there now. I think I almost forgot on this longer one. There's a hole that goes up in the top here too, so I need to mark that. Something's not right there. I was at 657, so all of those marks I just did were 1/10 of an inch off. So I'm going to run through them again. You can see the double lines there now. The reason I noticed that is when I did this other side here, I saw these two lines did not line up correctly. Kind of lucked out on that. Always do sanity checks. Which I didn't do. You know, when I set the 1 1/4, you know, I brought the ruler over here and looked at it. And while that won't tell me if I'm a few thou off, I'm not as worried about that. That's within the calibration of the height gauge. What's not within the calibration of the height gauge is, you know, realizing that I was halfway between 6 and 7 and not halfway between 7 and 8 over here. You know, fairly simple mistake, which put me far enough off where if I would have held the ruler up here, I would have saw that, hey, I'm nowhere near a 3/4 like I'm supposed to be. So then the last mark I got to do is this one here, which is at 3 1/4. So it'll be up 1, 2, 3, 100, 200, 250. 3 1/4. All right, now I just got to make sure when I go to center punch all of these, I hit the line that's actually in the middle, not the one that's off. I always like doing this center punching on the anvil. This gives me a nice solid surface. I also went ahead and grabbed these portions of the hinges. So I will drill out holes on each side here, and then I'll actually just mill out the rest of that on the rotary table. Alright, next stop will be the drill press. I already lined all of this stuff up pretty well, so basically I'm hoping I can just slide these into here. They'll stop on the clamp. I've got this centerpiece that's got a hole that goes all the way through it, so hopefully I can just pop these in here and run through them really quickly. Now I'm going to swap out to a 1/2 inch drill bit and get those drilled out to 1/2 inch. Alright, with the bigger drill bit I slowed down to about 150 RPM. Alright, last two holes are 3/8. So I've got to pull this guy out and put in a 3/8. Three-eighths is to actually do this slot here. Went ahead and chamfered all the holes. I just transferred this arc onto these guys here. And as you saw, I just cut off the corners of the bandsaw. I'll be able to come in with the angle grinder and get it close, and then I'll take it to the belt sander to clean it up. Just have to make 2 more of these. Here's a quick view of the setup in the mill. What I did, mounted the bracket on top of these 2 parallels here with these 2 clamps. Went ahead and got the mill centered, so I know my center is 0, 0 on the DRO. Moved over 2 inches, which puts me pretty much right on this drill hole, which was slightly smaller than the 3/8. So I got a 3/8 end mill in there. I'll be able to plunge all of the way through with this end mill. Then because this is 3/8 thick, I don't want to go more than about half of it at a time. I'll probably go even less than that. Stop here just by eyeballing up underneath to make sure I'm not sure why, but it just spun a little bit. So this actually goes through and into an MT3 taper down below, but for some reason it spun just enough for this guy to pop off. So if it did move, it's actually still close enough I can put the end mill into the old hole. So what I'll do, I'll come down to the floor here, and I'm going to go ahead and drop the table down, bring the mill up by 50 thou, so I'll only be taking a 50 thou cut at a time. Alright, that should be it. I'm going to get a bolt and double check, make sure it fits in here. I may need to widen that slot. Otherwise, I'm going to just take it off. Hopefully it should be good. And since I can, while I'm on this side, I won't be able to do the other side, but I've got this, actually I think it's a dovetail cutter, but it'll work perfect for just chamfering these guys a little bit. I'm just going to come down and touch. I'm going to back up until I touch, and then I'll just swing all the way around again until it touches. Wow, yeah, that came out nice. Alright, that made such a nice chamfer that I couldn't let that be on just the one side. So I went ahead and flipped it over because I was indicated off of this center pin here, which goes into Morse taper. So this is pretty dead center. I was able to pull this off, flip it over, and put it back on, and then this was exactly on the same 2-inch mark as before.